I think I'm a better version of me now. I think, they say life will humble you. I think I've been made better in every way by this experience, by being a mom, by staying home. The decisions I'm making for my career are richer. They're, they're more they're more intentional, more purposeful, I'm happier, if that makes sense. I'm happier now. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, good for
I'm
you.
not trying to chase something.
So the decision to do law,
Yeah.
was that a natural decision? Is it
No,
something you always
no,
wanted to do?
did not want to do law one bit. It was the right thing for the family.
And that brings me to, Tales by Nyana.
Yes.
So when did you start thinking about this?
When I was pregnant.
There you go.
When
So you see, if you were still working
Yes.
at The Hague,
No,
for
it would
example,
have never been. My hope is that one time Nyankore will be able to say, that Charlie have this story, and they'll tell the whole story and teach their child a lesson that is rich, a lesson from a story that has survived generations and changed how people thought and created survivors, created people who are really strong and ambitious. I'm hoping, if we're lucky, if we're successful in this venture, that's going to be what people will be like, the Bagisu, they have this saying, and you're quoting, and because you read it somewhere, we've not forgotten it.
before the change,
Yeah.
when you're working at The Hague,
Yeah.
were you like crazy busy?
I
were
thought
you
I was
like
going
a
to
bit
be
of a
the head of the
workaholic?
UN.
Oh,
I was so
so isn't this quite a
ambitious.
transition?
Everyone who knows me personally will say they never saw this coming.
Now, we happen to be at the gorgeous Opain showroom, which is at the Chin Center along Ginger Road. I tell you what, if you want to just look at beautiful things, just come by, come by. But they can do your customized cabinetry, whether it's a kitchen space like we're in today, or a bathroom space. It could be the mirrors, it can be the bathroom furniture. It is the luxury furniture here. There is so much to bring luxury into your life right here at Opain Home, Uganda. So today I have someone who is so many different things. She is a Ugandan-based, should I say, Ugandan lawyer, living in Germany at the moment.
Yes.
She's a certified project manager. She is a playwright, and she's also an author. She is the person behind Tales by Nyana. I do have Rhona Rwangyezi Grimm joining me on
Thank
Crystal
you,
One-on-One.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure.
I'm just so impressed by how much about me you already know. So I'm like, okay.
Yes.
You know
I'm like, I
everything.
need to understand more about the person
Yes.
behind these. Can I just put these up? These are so gorgeous.
Thank you.
These are the things that make me want to be a child again. So what I do is I get my children, I say, we are reading this.
Yes. Or do you want to be a toddler mom again? Or you're like, nope.
No, not toddler. Not toddler, let's
Not
be
toddler.
clear. We need to just hit like 5, 6 there.
I need to meet a mom who wants to be a toddler mom again. People are traumatized.
We're traumatized,
Women are
but then
out.
they're also so cute.
They're cute.
And when they're sleeping at that age,
I know,
you
just want to
eat
look
them.
at them. And
Yeah.
I stare at my kids a lot. I don't know if you did that when you had toddlers.
Yeah.
But when they finally sleep, you just have that moment when you're like, oh, you didn't just stir the house up.
Did you have, these are the moments of madness as a mother, like when they're sleeping and they're so quiet, you actually have a little heart attack. You're like, are they okay? Are they breathing?
Yeah.
Then you come close and you're like, oh, they're breathing. They're fine.
Those perfect little guys who just tore the whole house up. They're breathing and they're fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're a mama too.
I am mama.
Out of the toddler phase.
Not yet. I have one who is 5.
Okay.
And one who is 2. Smack in the middle.
Oh,
And
okay.
she's running the house.
Okay, so she's the queen diva.
And she knows it.
Oh.
And she knows it. And she tells us when we qualify to be princesses too, like her. So like if you wear a nice dress and she's like, Mama, you're princess. Your
Oh,
princess.
oh.
So she is running that house and she knows it.
Okay.
Yeah. And my son is 5. So he's now calm. He's reasoning with us.
Yes.
He's more intellectual, you know. I think he's like his dad in that sense. And my daughter, I think she's going to be a creative as well.
Like mommy?
Yeah, I think so. I think yesterday we
So
had a
has her
fun.
brother stepped into his big brother role?
Yes. Yeah, whenever I don't allow her to do something, she goes and tells him, and then he's like the peace. So I give you an example. She likes ice cream, and she
Yeah.
knows how to go to the freezer and get herself a popsicle. And whenever she said, Mama, can Mia eat ice? And I say no, because she can't like ice. And I say no, and she'll go to the brother and say, can Mia eat ice? And then the brother now knows to say, what did Mama say? And I'll just shout from wherever I said no. Because if she says, Mama said yes, then he'll go get her the
Yes,
popsicle.
yes.
So he's really like full on big brother.
Yeah.
But I like that he sort of balances us out. Yeah, because what did Mama? Then I'd be like, no. And then she's like, Mama said no. He has this, we all have to wait, Mia.
Until the right time.
Until Mama says. And then
But
she
I can
will cry
imagine in
something.
your world as a 2-year-old, everything is like now. I don't understand. What do you mean? Why wait?
Yeah, it's now and it's mine. And I
And
don't,
I want.
and I want it. And I don't understand the rules. Why are there rules? To ruin my 2-year existence on this planet. Yeah, no,
Yes,
but
indeed.
the toddler, I'm smack in the middle of it, but my son has come out of it. So with him, I'm now experiencing that young boy stage. We've started that.
Yes.
He's asking so many questions. He wants to know why everything works the way it works. He wants to, like,
What's the hardest question he's asked you recently? Sorry, I know I'm putting you on the
recently.
spot.
No, I'm just
But
thinking
some of these
about
questions
it.
you just don't even
So
know.
he's into the solar system.
Okay.
And he recently asked me about the nebula. It was something to do with why some people say stars die and some people say stars are born in that cloud. And all I could say was, let's read and find out.
I'm having a moment.
I said,
what?
that's a good question. Because I was like, the what? And the what? And the
I
what?
swear to you, sci-fi movies, that's where I've heard nebula in there. Somewhere maybe in
He has
encyclopedias.
a book. He has a book. So he's really been into the solar system for about a year now. So I thought it was a phase that was going to, like dinosaurs. But he's the kind of child where he just doesn't let it go until he has, even with dinosaurs, he still keeps going back. I mean, he went all the way to understanding fossils and he wanted to be a
I'm
paleontologist
sorry, you
for a
said your
minute.
son is 5.
He's 5. But
Wow.
these new children are not just 5. They're like 5 going on 31.
So is he like reading? Like
Yes. He started reading at 4. Like we read to him a lot.
Yes, yes.
So we have been reading to him since he was like a baby. But independently reading on his own, he started at 4. And he started simple words. But now he's at 5, he's able to actually read sentences and understand You don't always have to, he's not going through that. Then he, so he can say, then he said, blah, blah, and he's able to understand as he reads, to comprehend as he reads in the moment. So he knows a lot and he loves documentaries. And we went through his crazy phase, but now he's more quiet and introspective. Like he
Well, they
thinks
keep
a lot.
changing.
Yeah,
he's
do.
becoming his own person.
Yeah, so
but
this
well
an
done
interesting
to
phase
both
as well.
of you. Well
Thank
done
you.
that your
We're
child is
trying.
reading.
He is, yeah.
Yes, because I know you're an ambassador for children to read. I am too. I'm always like, I have a library at home.
Yes.
It's a whole big thing
Yeah.
when we go and we're
Yeah.
like, we're going to buy books today.
Yeah.
Because I think it's so important that they will learn not only about their little world, but about the rest
And
of the
on
world.
their own.
On their own.
That was important to me. Actually, the person who inspired me in this is, she's a friend, she's called Sarah Nsubuga. I don't know if you know her. But when I wrote my first books, her son, who was 5 at the time, she sent me a video of her son just reading flawlessly.
Oh
Just
my goodness.
reading. And I remember that time, my Anton, my son was about 2, and I was thinking, what can we achieve this? I didn't know how. I was like, how did you do that? How? And she was like, we read.
Yeah.
We read.
You
It's
start
that
by
simple.
reading them every bedtime.
Yeah.
Just
And
read.
so I was like, okay, so we're not going to give up on this. And I didn't know how to get to help him to actually start reading, because my son is also autistic. He's on the spectrum. So he had his own challenges, and I was like, will it not? When I tell you, that's why now I preach reading to
Yeah.
children. Like parents, sit down and read to your children. Because I saw a child who maybe we thought might not be able to, have a bit more trouble in this area, but no. My kid is out here reading.
It is so crazy.
We buy
And
books
the
all
human
time.
brain is
Yeah.
also amazing,
Yeah.
because when you're reading, most people think that, let's say your child is in bed and
Yeah.
they're where you are,
Yeah.
and I'm reading like this.
Yeah.
When it's so important that
To
we're
read like
reading
this.
together.
Yes.
The brain is so
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
They start to recognize
sight words. They start reading by sight. Yes, that's true.
from
That's
what they
true.
hear.
Yeah, that's true. And I'm also learning as I go that that's how children learn, because I also didn't know that part. I had to teach myself how to read to kids.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's how he's 5 and he's reading. He reads to his class. He reads to, if you correct him, he'll like, I know how to read, and then he'll start. Like if he's reading Nyanja, he will be like, if it makes a mistake and you correct him, say, no, mama, wait. Yeah, Then he puts that and he tells you the words, like, so I don't understand what your problem is. I read it correctly the first
So he's like, just calm down, like, be a little
you'll be just
patient.
fine. Yeah. So that's how he's reading now, and yeah. So that's the most difficult. Back to your question. That's the most difficult question. I didn't have the time yet to answer him. So thankfully, he has a book. We got him a big book on the universe for kids, and I think he's figuring that out.
Okay.
So when I finish my book tour, I think we're going to sit down and I'm going to learn about the nebula.
Okay.
And
so,
clouds and
as
stars.
a children's author,
Yeah.
and someone who clearly is passionate about children reading,
Yeah.
how do you feel about screen time for our children in the world today?
Okay, my feelings towards screen time are split. And it's because I told you earlier, my son is on the spectrum.
Yes.
And I think one of the best tools we have used for him was the screen. And I know
Because when you're saying documentaries and he's learning,
yes, because he had a speech delay. And you have therapy once a week. But a child with a speech delay needs more than once a week, more than 45 minutes. So we had to figure out how to do therapy. So I learned how to do speech therapy so I could do it with him. But also we found programs on TV that also help because of that repetition that they break down. And then we built he built his vocabulary. And then he started learning. There are programs that could help him to learn how to make the word, to form the words. And he was studying people's lips and all.
Yeah.
We have benefited a lot from screen time. But I also have a neurotypical daughter, and she doesn't need the flashing lights and blah, blah, blah. So for me, screen time is something that when I talk about it, I can't give you, I can't stand up and in good conscience tell you screens are bad, don't, because I have a child who has greatly benefited from screen time. But what we have done as a family is we limit screen time for us completely to 1.5 hours a day.
Oh, for
Yes,
everyone.
For everyone. The TV is on so I pick we get home typically at about 3:30. And we have dinner at 5:30. And I make sure that we get home they don't immediately go to the TV. So for example, if they do have screen time at 4 p.m., if dinner is at 5:30, after that, no.
That's
now
it.
they know it. They don't ask, they don't cry, but that's it. And because they like different shows, they don't typically watch TV together.
Yeah.
So it's maybe 30 minutes for you, 30 minutes for you, and then I can say, okay, that's enough. So, but we have tried to reduce it, but it's not always easy because I'm a stay-at-home mom. I'm always by myself with the kids. I also need a minute.
Yes.
Like, I'm not going to be that person who is going to lie and be like, oh my God, it's so perfect. My kids are like, 2 minutes, screen is off. Sometimes I'm like, I need 5, go. That's the truth.
I
But
can
we do
honestly
try to
say
limit it.
CBBS was so lovely back in
Yeah.
the day.
Yeah.
But thank you for sharing that, because I think that is a constant challenge
Yeah.
for parents.
It's difficult.
People talk about teens, preteens, but
Yeah.
even because of the way the world is now, you're
Yeah.
finding children as young as 1, 2
Yeah.
who are addicted.
Yeah.
And I think it is really a matter of, like you said,
Yeah.
you limit screen time.
You limit screen
You
time.
are very very intentional about
Yes.
what shows
What they
or
watch.
what they're watching.
Yes. I can also
But I
say
think
for
it's
us, we
important.
also don't give phones and we don't give tablets.
Ah.
So when I say screen time, it's a TV.
Okay.
It has to, first, the rules we have set up in the house, it has to be a shared experience. A child can't be isolated. We try not to do that.
Yeah.
So it has to be a shared experience. You and your sister and mama and papa, we are here. We can see. I always know what they're watching. But secondly, because we have our own challenges as a family, we are very selective about what the children can watch.
Okay.
It can't. I remember when I was doing the research on what we let them watch. It can't be shows where the image changes after 2 seconds.
Yes.
So, for example, I don't know if I can say a show, but like Coco Melon, my kids don't watch that because
the
I did
attention
time
spans
it.
are actually
Yes.
damaged.
I sat down and I timed 2 seconds, 2 seconds. So I was like, no. So we have luckily found really good shows where it will be one shot for almost 10 seconds before they switch. And these are really, really good children shows. German TV is like almost famous for that. Their TV is slow.
Yeah.
And that's good. And if you have a child who needs to develop their speech, they need to hear. It can't be fast, it can't be flashy. You want them to concentrate, you want them to learn to hear and to comprehend in real time. So those are things we are very intentional for. I was a crazy woman. There was a time I was like, oh, that changed. Oh, that changed. Okay, so we are not watching that show. And I was like, okay.
No, but you have to set the pace. And these
Yeah.
are very important discussions.
Yeah.
Because many people just go with what's easy.
Yeah.
They go with what's easy,
Because parents
or
are
they
tired.
go with what the child likes, or they give in to the demands
Yes, yes.
because you don't know to start. I mean,
Yeah.
my children are preteen, teenagers,
Yeah.
young adults.
Yeah.
So my kids are much older.
Yeah.
But one of the things I did with them is would intentionally have like movie night.
Yes.
So we sit down as a family.
That's healthy, yeah.
And it's a movie night every week.
Yeah.
And then during the week, my son is not allowed any TV.
Yeah.
So we'll watch like
are
a
a
documentary.
brave mom.
It's not easy. I tell you, but what we do is we
Yeah.
watch like a nature show,
Yeah.
we watch a documentary,
Yeah.
because I've realized that because they have been trained to sit
Yeah.
and pay attention
Attention.
for 2
Yes,
hours,
yes.
it actually helps with their concentration in other areas.
Elsewhere, it really, really does. So we're also quite strict. Like my son started loving documentaries because when he couldn't talk yet, I used to. There are YouTube channels that you can find where there's no speech and they're just showing beautiful scenery and animals. And so I used to do that. I would put that on and then I'd be like, that's a lion, lion. And then I would repeat and then with this and that. He's just somehow, I don't know if it's just his nature, but he got to like watching things that are just slow paced. And then now he's just into documentaries. He will watch a documentary any day and then he'll come and tell you. And then you're like,
The best
I
thing
think I should
ever.
have watched that with you because now I haven't. But it has really helped him a lot. My daughter is different. She's more upbeat. She's all
So she
about
wants
that
to see
life.
like the dancing fairies
Yes,
and
but
the
I think
ballerinas.
yes, but I think she's also lucky that she has two extremes, and she's sort of in the middle. She can go both ways,
Yeah.
but she's not. My daughter is not much. She's not a TV person really, because
But she's still only 2.
she's 2, and most times, like we were in a restaurant recently for dinner, and she threw a complete fit. Like she was just like, I'm out of it. And thankfully there was a shelf with books, and we just went and got her books, and she was reading, and my son finished, and he was reading, and the mom came and said, "How did you do that?" And said,
That's what happens.
she's not really like I never give them the phone when they throw a
Yeah.
complete fit. I didn't start them off with that.
Yeah.
I don't give that phone or the iPad. It has to be a shared experience. It helps. It helps in situations because you can get any book and give them, and then they're my daughter is like looking for pictures, and then my son
As long
is
as it
like,
has pictures,
I think
yeah.
I can read this. I don't understand this. And then but it helps. Screen time it's a complicated issue.
It's interesting,
Yeah.
but you have to do your part.
You have to do your part. You have to be
And
intentional.
look at, I've thrown her into this conversation. But thank
But
you.
it's a good conversation. It's
Yeah.
something that we are always. I don't know a parent who is not going through, who is not thinking, am I doing enough? Have I cut screen time back enough? Now I need 5 minutes. Do I put them on the screen? How, especially for those of us who live like in an apartment, you can't open the back door and say go.
Yes, like, or go outside and play.
Exactly. For those of us, for example, when I do work, I work from home.
Yes.
And you sometimes you just need to take a call. You cannot be distracted. What do? it's a complicated issue.
Yeah.
I'm not one to judge one who'll switch on the TV because I have done that. I'm not going to lie, I have done that. And I'm also the same person who's like, oh no, it's more than 45 minutes, we're done. And then somebody will cry and I'm like,
Well,
yeah.
okay.
So it's
so you live in Germany.
yes,
How long have you been living in Germany?
7 years now.
7 years.
I moved to Germany after we got married.
Okay.
My husband is
So
German.
you met your husband here?
No, I met my husband in The Hague. I was working.
Oh,
We
okay.
were working together at the Permanent Court of Arbitration in The Hague, and that's how we met. And then I moved to Geneva. I was at the UN, and then he went to Germany. And then when he got a much better job, then like he was earning a lot more than what I was earning, so I could give up mine because we did try to do the long distance. I'm not.
I was about to ask you, that sounds like long distance right there.
We tried to do the long distance marriage, and for those who do it, I really respect them. But that's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy. For us, what we felt that what was better was we needed to be together, to do life together every single day. Because what it was we talk in the morning, we check in during the day, and we talk at night.
Yeah.
When you're tired,
Yes.
there's only so much you can say. And I swear men have just a couple of number of words a day that they're allowed to use. So when my husband would use up his words at work,
And then
he
you
would
have to
come home,
fill
I'm
in
like,
that
so how
space.
was? And he's like, oh, okay. The usual. The same. And I'm like, details. I just didn't want that. I didn't want to always catch up.
Yeah.
I didn't want to fly in on the weekends. I didn't want that. So I remember that time we just sat down. I was like, okay, can we leave off one salary until something good comes up for me in Germany? And so that's actually how that decision was. I was like, I'm just
You
not
wanted
doing
to
this.
be together.
We wanted to be together and to do life together every day.
Yeah.
And then we had a baby. And then I became a stay-at-home mom. And yeah, so then we lived.
So before the change,
Yeah.
when you're working at The Hague,
Yeah.
were you like crazy busy?
I
were
thought
you
I was
like
going
a
to
bit
be
of a
the head of the
workaholic?
UN.
Oh,
I was so
isn't this quite a
ambitious.
transition?
Everyone who knows me personally will say they never saw this coming because I was never that girl. I was so ambitious in my career because I had seen doors had opened for me that I'd never dreamed would happen. Like I'd never thought I would be the girl at The Hague, and then it happened. And I was like, wait, it can happen. I never thought I could be that person. Like
Okay.
in my wildest dreams, I never thought I could do that. It was bigger than me. And then I saw that it can. And that made me extremely ambitious. I was like, I'm going to go, I'm going to do this. But then something happened before I got pregnant. We were on vacation in the US and we went and visited friends of mine in Boston.
Yeah.
And she was also a girlfriend from law school, one of my best friends. And I just saw her and her babies. And I remember telling her, like, my goodness, your kids, so intelligent, so kind, so funny, so just full of life. What did you do? And she said, we invest a lot of time in these children. We are there. And she had decided she's now back to work, but she had decided to be a stay-at-home mom for almost 10 years.
Yeah.
She had really put the work in. And I remember that, like, it planted a seed
Yeah.
in me because I could have taken, I was like, give me these kids. Now they're mine now. I'm now raising them. They were so sweet. And I was like, this confidence? It was like you invest time. This doesn't just happen.
Yeah.
You spend time. You raise your children how you want them. And that planted a seed. So when we were pregnant, in Germany, you can't take a whole year. You can take 2 years and between
So
parents, and one can have the 1
yeah.
year and then the other and your income, like they just cut down maybe 60% for 1 year and something like that. So my plan had been that first year I would spend it at home because even childcare, we don't really have that much help. We pretty much do it.
And it is expensive.
Yeah,
abroad.
and
Extremely.
towards that end of the first year is when I had started to notice, okay, something is different about my kid. Something is different. He's developing well, but you know how children are already bubbling and stuff, and we were not getting that. So then 1.5, I was like, something is different about my child. So eventually I did stay at home because my child needed the support.
Yeah.
He needed that. He needed the kind of support only a parent can give, the kind of patience a parent, and so then it just naturally progressed
Yeah.
into that. Yeah.
I mean, everyone's life story is different.
It's different,
You might
yes.
be ambitious and career oriented. That's perfectly
Yeah.
fine. But I think sometimes as mothers, there
Yeah.
are seasons in your life, because I know
Yes.
so many people who have taken the time to be
Yeah.
home with their kids.
Yeah.
And then 10, 15 years later,
They're right
they
back like
pick
they
up their
never-
careers
Yeah.
again.
Yes.
Or do something completely different.
different,
So it's a
yes.
beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Because I think in a way it's a blessing to be
Yes.
there
It
as
is a
well.
huge
But
blessing.
then I know there are some personalities who are like, I love my children, but
See you at 5. I love my children, but I'll see you at 5,
Yeah.
and I will love you even more after that.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. I
That's
thought I would
true.
be that mom. Actually, I really, really did. Like, I never understood stay-at-home moms. I judged them. I'm sorry, everyone.
No, you know what?
I'm
First
sorry.
time saying this, but my best friend's mom
Yeah.
said once,
Yeah.
because I was not about children when I
Yeah.
was younger, and
Yeah.
children would always come to me and I would be like, what is the issue?
Yeah.
Before I had kids. And she was just like, she's
Yeah.
like, when you have children,
Yeah.
you're going to give them away. One day you're going to forget
Well,
it.
yeah.
And I was like mortified.
Yeah.
And then I had my first child, and it's like
Everything shifts. It's such a huge shift, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was that woman. I thought my life was going to be 4 nannies, the guy at the gate. That's what I thought. I did not think my life was going to be, we are on the floor, rolling in the mud. I am your person, you are my person. We are, like, I didn't know that. But now when I think about it, I think it's the biggest blessing I've
Yeah.
ever received.
Yeah.
Especially because I have seen what me being at home, like every day raising our children, has done for them. Yeah. Like, it's the biggest blessing.
And that brings me to, Tales by Nyana.
Yes.
So when did you start thinking about this?
When I was pregnant.
There you go.
When
So
I-
you see, if you were still working
Yes.
at The Hague,
No,
for
it
example,
would have never been.
you see,
No.
seasons, timing,
yeah.
and sometimes your purpose just,
It changes, and I'm glad it did.
yeah.
I think I'm a better version of me now. I think, they say life will humble you. I think I've been made better in every way by this experience, by being a mom, by staying home. The decisions I'm making for my career are richer. They're more intentional, more purposeful, I'm happier, if that makes sense. I'm happier now. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, good for
I'm
you.
not trying to chase something. I'm trying to make
So
something.
you felt like you were constantly
I was
chasing.
constantly chasing. I thought that for me to make it, I would have had to be at a certain level. For me to matter, for me to feel like my work had value, I would have had to be at a certain level.
Right.
And then I came down to the everyday of life. My life slowed down greatly. And then I realized, oh my goodness, this is the best, this is the most important thing I will ever do. And everything I've done since, my intention is different. Like even with the books, I want children to love reading. I want children to love the search of knowledge. I want them to enjoy. I want children to, because I always tell people, I don't know what the world is going to be in 20 years from now. Nobody does. People are losing jobs today because AI can do your job faster and better. And you don't even need all this training that we had, 4 years of law school, 1 year of a postgrad diploma,
That is a
year of math.
reality.
It's a lot. And I'm thinking, I thought to myself, I said, my goodness, I'm raising children for a world I do not know what it will look like. So I need to raise them in a way that I give them skills to make it in that world. And then, so I thought reading is that tool. they search for knowledge. They're curious. We're not killing their curiosity. We're not killing their ambition. They retain that beauty of human nature, that you're born with a level of curiosity, of problem solving, of all that. I think that when children love reading, they retain all that. So now my work is different. My intention is different. It's more towards service, than what I was thinking, where it was all about me getting to a certain point and
Yeah.
thinking I have made it. If I'm here, I've made it, Now it's more about, it's not me. It's how can I help my child, other children, all of us. Let us all get better. Yeah, it's been a big shift, yeah.
So, I'm listening to you talking about being a lawyer,
Yeah.
ambitious go-getter. You're a certified project manager. Okay, so I guess somewhere that fits
Yes,
together. And then
yes.
I'm like, but you said before this you were a playwright.
I
Before
was
you,
Crystal.
where, how, when?
Crystal is a researcher. You really, really, you dug up.
I'm like,
So,
how? Okay.
yes. So I come from a long line of storytellers. And my dad used to write. I grew up watching my dad's plays. So being a playwright came naturally. Maybe not naturally, but it wasn't something I thought was too complicated.
Okay.
Because also my dad's friends in the industry were uncle who also writes plays. We're going to watch Uncle Alex Mukulu's play. Uncle Charles Mulekwa. Those are my dad's peers. To me, it was like the next thing. So I remember when I was in primary school, I was at Lohana, and the teachers we had a teacher, particularly I think it was about P5, and this teacher was like, you're Rwangezi's child, you know these things, come. So it's like, come and teach us what to do. And I was like, okay. I didn't think anything of it. And then we're in the school choir, and in our school choir at the time, they empowered us to be creative. You try. After primary school, I went to Buranyanji in Buranyanji Girls. Buranyanji had a very interesting tradition. We had music, music competitions and all that. But they were all organized by students. The plays were written by students. The songs were composed by students, performed by, we did.
This was high school? Or?
Yeah, this was high school, but in Buranyanji. We did everything. It felt to me like that was
the
how
most
the
natural
world
thing
operated. So I would write a play for the competitions, and
Oh my goodness.
So I didn't think much about playwriting, that it was anything big, until I had a play that was in Kampala. It featured in Kampala. And the press, they had organized for a press tour or something. And I was answering questions. And I remember thinking,
wait, you were sitting there?
Yes.
Answering questions?
I'm answering questions about the play I had written, because they were introducing me as a playwright. And I was answering questions, and I was talking. And I'm thinking the whole time.
How old were you?
Okay, I think I must have been, 15. And the whole time I'm thinking, what's the big deal? I didn't think, it was just normal to me. It was what we did, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Dad does it, the uncles do, it's what we do. And then I remember thinking, okay, maybe there's something about playwriting. And especially when people be like, so what inspired you? What inspired me? The teacher said, write a play.
I did what they told me.
The teacher said we need a play on this and this and this, and I went and wrote it. What inspired? So why did you take this character? And I would think, well, that's the natural way that a person would have reacted. In my mind, it just was like that. I'm like, you're the protagonist and antagonist. It's just what it was. I never thought. And then I was also the person people would like, we need a play. Rhona, okay. Because other students in the school were composing the songs. They were direct, So we were all playing our part. There was nothing out of the ordinary about it. And then when I think that was in A-level, when I started to feel a little bit competitive with the playwriting, because now I had realized, hey, this can be a thing. And our school was coming for the my plays, I think I'd written the plays for the years that I was there at the national level.
So you'd come to the
The
National
National
Theatre?
Theatre for the National, yeah, National Theatre for the National. We were competing for the years that I was allowed. I would be the one to write the plays, and then I started to like feel a sense of competition with other schools. Like I want the play to win. You know, I would feel a certain type of way if it didn't. And I was like, so was it not good
You
enough?
invested.
Now I started to think, my goodness, playwriting. And then one time somebody reached out to my dad and asked if I could enter the BBC playwriting competition. And I was like, why? And he was like, it's a good opportunity. I didn't really think about it. I was like, oh my goodness. And I started the whole process, but then I chickened out. I got too scared because now I got to know what it was. I think if I didn't realize
You would have kept going.
how big that platform was and the people who submitted their plays, I think I would have actually just done it and submitted. But then when they explained to me the magnitude of that, I chickened out. I had already
you
started the
got
play
scared.
and I got so scared. I'm like, what? Then I was like, oh, playwriting is a thing. Yeah, so that's me as a playwright.
Okay, so it started right from childhood.
Yeah.
Father's influence
Yeah,
and through
it's a
school.
big influence. Yes, my
So,
dad has been a huge influence.
Yes, you got scared at that point. Did you give it up entirely? Did you continue at uni?
No, I did give it up. I did give it up because like remember the setting in which I was writing. For me, it was just the natural thing to do. So I didn't think to maybe do a thing of it. I think I did one time, maybe in uni, if I remember, I did write a play with my dad. It was a short play. We were teaching about. I think it was cervical cancer or something like that. And my dad he wrote the play and I was going to star in it. And then I did put a lot of, like I changed things here and changed things there. And if you work with my dad, you know that a lot changes the moment they say action. So I think that's the, like after the school and all, that's the one time I may have been so invested in a production. Yeah, and then we did it and I really enjoyed it. And I learned a lot about cervical cancer from that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I want to pursue it because the next step with Tales by Nyana is we're getting into children's theatre. So I am going to get back to playwriting, but based on the books we write.
Based on the books that you're writing.
Watch out, there'll be a play by me again.
So the decision to do law, was that a natural decision? Is it something you always
No,
wanted to do?
did not want to do law one bit. It was the right thing for the family.
Why do I think I've been waiting to say that?
It was the right thing to do for the family.
Okay.
No, it was. I did not want to do law.
What did you want to do?
I wanted to do marketing.
Okay.
I wanted to do marketing, and so that's all I can really say. And people, I'm sure everyone will understand because I think we all come from traditional families where there are traditional career paths and expectations, and my family is not any different. I had got a government scholarship to do music, but I didn't really want to pursue it. I wanted to do business, marketing, and business. And I did get, I actually was supposed to start at MOOBS, but for my parents, I think they had always envisioned that I could be a really good lawyer. And
Are you the oldest, youngest?
No, I'm a middle child.
You're middle child,
yeah.
Okay.
So I think they'd always envisioned that this one would be the lawyer. So, so actually my dad and I then, we had a deal. We had a deal, he's going to kill me for this, but we did negotiate. And we had a deal, and the deal was I would study law, and then after that do a postgrad in an MBA and use my law background to help me in that direction.
Okay.
That was the that's how I agreed to do law.
Okay.
And I remember my first class of law school, the dean came in and he was greeting us and he was like, if your parents made you do this, please stand up and walk out because you'll not make it through the 4 years. And I did this, Chris. So I held the seat. I said, I will not stand up. I will not stand up. I held the seat. I was like, I have a deal. We made a deal. I will not stand up. And I did the 4 years. And then after that, I did a postgraduate diploma in law. And then I did a master's in law, in commercial law. And then I started a PhD in law.
Okay, so does this mean
MBA.
you fell in love at some point?
No, not at all. I was good at it. Let's just say I realized that my decision not to become a lawyer wasn't because I hated it. It's just, my self-esteem was not that high. I didn't, I wasn't always the best student. I struggled a lot. Like for me, getting good grades was hard work. It was a lot. It was, my, I wanted to do other things. Like
Okay.
my time could have been spent doing other things other than studying, and it did not come naturally to me, and I struggled a lot. Like for me to do well in school, I had to really put in the work, and I thought that if I did law, I couldn't manage. I was like, I have already come so far with a lot of hard work. If I get into law school, I do not think I can manage it. But my parents had seen something, and now I'm grateful that they actually pushed me in that direction. Because one day I woke up and I said, Rhona, you are doing a PhD in commercial law. You are smart. It took me getting to that level to actually realize, wait, you actually are smart. You can do it. Was an issue of, I don't think I'm smart enough. I don't think I can. So
Isn't it interesting
yeah,
the narratives that we have running now, that
yeah,
inner voice, what it's saying?
yeah.
Because you clearly,
I had what it
graduated,
took.
you
Yes,
did well.
yes,
Yes, you had to put in a lot of work,
yes.
but anything worthwhile in the world
Yeah, it needs the work. I
needs
think
effort.
in many ways I have learned a lot, because like I remember when I told you, even when I worked at The Hague and in Geneva, in my mind, I didn't think that was within reach. Remember when I told you
Now
that?
I understand. I
Yeah,
understand when you were like, it was like you could not even
I
believe
could
you'd made
not
it that
even
far.
believe it. But I think my parents did see that. And they knew that maybe it's a self-esteem issue. My parents always told me I was the smartest person they had ever met. Like, they are very affirming people. And I remember, like, one time I used to also perform with my dad. By the way, I used to dance with Ndere Troop. And one time we were on tour, and we were performing in a city near The Hague. And my dad asked the promoters if they could take us to the ICC and ICJ. And then, so the Permanent Court of Arbitration and the ICJ are in the same building, really. So they took us, and it was like midnight. It was late. We were tired. My dad said, other people are sleeping in the bus, and my dad said, Rona, come out. And he told me, stand here. The only difference between you, who is outside this gate, and the person who works in that gate is hard work. And you have to believe in yourself. You can do it. And I was in law school at the time when I was performing. And I was like, parents, they just be here. Like he was like, he said, stand there, let me take a picture of you. And this is like, the only difference between you here outside this gate and the person who is inside is hard work and believing in yourself.
So you're
Chris, so
right.
years later, when I walked through those gates, I could have burst into tears. When I walked into those gates with a staff card,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh my God. So my parents did see something in me which I didn't see in myself. I hated law school, but they pushed me through. I remember I got one retake in first year, first semester, and my dad said, I'm sorry, this is not acceptable. He told me, Rhona, I will not, if I see one more retake. And the whole time I'm like, but it's hard, it's difficult. I said, I don't want to hear it. If I see one more retake, you are going to be in a lot of trouble. And we come from from a generation of parents where you can be in trouble at 30. With your, you can be here with a husband and children, and you can still get into trouble with your parents. So he was like, I do not want, and I didn't get another retake. But let me tell you, Crystal, my esteem was so low. I didn't, if every time I didn't get a retake, I was relieved. I wasn't able to see how good my grades were. I was only seeing that I didn't fail. Can you believe that? Yeah. So that
So
was,
interesting.
yeah.
But
I
as I
didn't see
said,
it
the
that way.
mind games, our
Yeah.
minds play all these
Yeah.
games on us.
I don't think I ever looked at my grades and thought, oh, I actually did well. I only said, oh, thank God I didn't fail. Law school was such a struggle.
So it was literally like you were in survival mode.
Yeah, I was in survival mode. And when I finished my bachelor's degree, and then my dad said, okay, so we had a deal. Do you want to go pursue business? And I was like, no, let me first do this postgraduate diploma and get that out of the way. And I was like, okay, your decision. And I remember that
And then the
conversation.
masters as
I
well.
remember that conversation very well, because we had lunch and he hadn't forgotten.
So
He said,
he remembered
He said,
that
so
he had
this was
to.
the deal. I said, let me first do this. And he was like, okay, get that out of the way first. And I did. And when I worked at a law firm in Nairobi at the time, which had 2 female partners. Oh my God, they were the best thing I'd ever seen in my life. I was like, oh my God, look at these women at the top of their game. And I was like, let me go and pursue now. Let me get there. And then, so I remember I pursued my master's degree in commercial law, and the heads of the department were women. I was like, that's how I kept going. And I found myself on a PhD. I'm like typing away. And I'm like, how did I get here? Where is my marketing?
It was all
Where
just
is my
making
business?
sense along the way.
Yes.
That's what I'm hearing.
yes.
That your father could see something.
Yes.
He was dreaming big for you,
Yes.
really.
Yes.
Because he put it out there in the universe.
He did, and he fought for it. He negotiated.
But along the way, things kept happening that
Yes.
made sense.
Yes, doors kept opening. I kept getting inspired. And I also started slowly believing in myself a little bit more. And then that's where that ambition started to build within me, because I think I'm naturally an ambitious person. When I set my eyes on something, I will really go for it. But to set my eyes on a goal that for me was impossible, and to say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to push myself, I'm going to hate it and do it. Now that's why I also feared myself. That's why I was also like, you are crazy, because I don't know that I ever truly enjoyed them. I enjoyed going to court. I enjoyed the but a lot of legal practice doesn't happen in court.
Yes.
It's on your desk, and that part was difficult. But I really pushed myself through and got myself to a level that also shocked me, because I was pushing myself to do something that I didn't really want to do, but I wanted to be really good at it. Even me, I shocked myself. So that's how
So you had also set high standards for yourself. You just maybe didn't realize it at the time.
I didn't, because it was I don't know how
It
else
was
to
the
explain.
natural.
It was the next step. Like when you see, the higher you go, you see people who have gone there.
Okay.
And then now you're like, it's the next thing to do. It's the next, it's the next step. For me, when I would see my bosses or the partners in the law firm I was working for at the time, in my mind, that was the next thing for me. It wasn't, I just thought it was, okay, well, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm now working. I'm working to get to that level. I'm working. And for me, it was the next thing to do. I don't know if it's just my nature, but I didn't even think it was difficult. I even once made an offer to the law firm to buy in. And people were like, because for me, it wasn't a difficult, I was like, now we're doing this.
I'm in it.
We're doing this. And then I would want to get then the next one. Then I'm like, the more I go, I realize, oh, people exist in this other world. Then I'm now going into that other world. Then, yeah. And the whole time I was dreading it. But there I was. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So interesting.
It's interesting.
At that point, in those many years where you were like, I am determined to do this,
yes,
even though I'm not enjoying it.
Yes.
Were you ever thinking about writing?
No. Now I was a lawyer. Now in that world, I was a lawyer, and that was it. And I was now going to succeed at that. And I was going to succeed fully. Like in my mind, I didn't have a limit. I never see things and think, this is as far as I can go. I'm always thinking, okay, we're here now. Then I'm looking for the next, then the next, then the next. I didn't have a limit. But when I think it's just my nature. When I get into something, now we're in it. And now we're going to really...
You commit.
Yes, I commit, and I commit fully. I don't have to like it. I don't always have to enjoy it. I think my joy is in what I accomplish. And then I'm like, I did that actually, yeah? Okay.
So your son is 5, and
He's
you
5.
said you started thinking about...
When I was about 5 months pregnant with him, yes.
Okay.
And I'd started doing the shopping and putting things together.
And your life had changed. You'd moved to
My
Germany,
life, yes.
Become a stay-at-home mom.
But I'd also
pregnant.
given myself like a year.
So,
I'd said, let him, I'll have him for a year, and then I'm going back into this field. Yeah. Like I'd given myself time. I didn't settle into being a stay-at-home mom fully.
So you thought it was just for, his first year or two,
his
then
first
back
year,
to work.
and then back to work. I didn't get into it thinking this is it. No, actually, I struggled with it.
So
I struggled
why
with it.
did you decide? Because one of the things is, which I love, is you're keeping some of our cultural stories alive, our folklore stories. And I can also see a bit of influence from your papa.
Yes.
your dad in here.
Yes.
But you could have decided to go any direction. But one of
Yeah.
the things is you're honoring culture.
Yeah. No, so when I was looking for a book, I bought a Winnie the Pooh book, like 5-minute stories, those bedtime, it's like this thick,
Yes,
with
yes,
multiple
yes.
stories. And then I started now searching for Ugandan stories, African stories, and I couldn't find them. So then that's what I was like, let me first write a book. Like
So it came from,
it
I
came
can't
from
find
trying
what
to
I'm
meet,
looking for.
yeah,
Let me
let
do
me
it.
do it. Let me do it. And then I shared with a couple of friend moms, and they loved it. And they're like, can you share? Can you? Then I was like, okay, let me hit up Jonathan, because I'd seen his work. I was like, let me ask him to
This is
illustrate
the
it.
illustrator.
Yes, I thought it was something that was just going to be for me and my boy and a few of my friends to enjoy. But then the more people liked it, the more I realized there is actually a need for these stories.
Yeah.
Many of us want these stories, they're just not there.
And these stories are being lost.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
are hearing stories from other people's
Yeah.
experiences and other histories
Yeah.
that don't really relate to the kind of life we're still trying to share with our
Yeah.
children.
Yeah.
Like you come from this and
Yeah.
you come from this.
Yes. So, and at that time, actually, now it's something that will tie back to my career, because I told you for me it was 1 year. I'd given myself. So I had already started my PhD. And I don't know whether it was pregnancy, brain, or just life. I was feeling stuck in the argument that I couldn't see what contribution I was going to make in the entire argument. You know, for my thesis, I couldn't see how I was going to solve the problem differently from how other academics who had come before me had proposed to solve this problem. And it was on protection of legal protection of traditional cultural expressions. So like traditional songs, artifacts, stories, legally protecting them. And at that time, I'd been at the UN, and that I was in the traditional knowledge division, and that was exactly what we were working on. So I felt stuck, and I thought, maybe it's just pregnancy. I just couldn't see where to take it. So I remember one time I needed to give my professor a report. I was just so frustrated, and I realized every time I was sitting down to write, I was just hating it. And I came up with a brilliant idea, as we all do in the night. Why don't I write this story? Like, why don't I create a problem and then see if I fail to solve it? So these stories would have been part of that problem. So I told her, I said, you know what? I'm going to pause right now. I'm going to pause the thesis. And she was like, is it because of a pregnancy? And I said, no, it's because I can't, I've hit a wall.
Yeah.
So I told her, I'm going to write these stories. That time I'd already seen it can work. I told her, I'm going to write these stories. I'm going to go through all the legal processes of protecting them legally. When I hit the wall, that's the problem I'm going to solve. Because I was like, I can't see right now what difference I'm going to make from the scholars that have come before me.
Before you.
What proposals they have suggested, how they've solved this. So I'm like, I can't see it. So I asked her if she was like, oh, that sounds like a brilliant idea. So I said, I'm going to write these stories. I'm going to go through all the steps. When I hit the wall, that is the problem I'll know I need to solve. Because right now I don't know what am I going to tell the world? And so
I'm not sure everyone thinks about problem solving quite like you. Like, let me give myself a whole other
Yes.
project.
So that's like I told you, I had given myself 1 year. So I was like, by that time, I should have gone through. I thought it was going to be quick and easy. I should have written a couple of, gone through this, and then now we're back to work. Yeah. So that's another part. Like in my mind, I was like, that will be like I'll write these stories. But then when the process was so easy, like I still don't know what I want to add. I was like, okay, so this is not. I needed to stay home first of all for personal reasons.
Yes.
But then I was like, I'm going to give this a break, and then I'm now So that's how the books ended up being what they are now. And
Isn't
then
it interesting how timing
yes,
is everything?
it all fell in place actually for me.
Yes.
It all fell in place because if I hadn't worked in Geneva and got to understand like the legality, the issues people are grappling with, I don't even think I would have had such depth when I'm writing these stories. I don't think I would have had the passion I had for preserving our culture the way I have it now. I don't think, because when we were there, I could see people fighting for the laws to change, to preserve their culture, to preserve their stories, to preserve their heritage. And the African team was really, really strong, But that's a whole discussion for another day. But it got me thinking, I need to get onto this bandwagon of people who are preserving. So it almost all fell in place, really.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so far you have 5.
So far, I have 5, yes. I started with 2, Nyantahi and Nyamurunga. I wasn't sure how they were going to do, but they were so well received. They were like, okay, there's a place for this. And parents were now reaching, when are you? When are you? When's the next one? When is the next one?
The pressure
but
was on.
I was busy having another child and going through the whole process. So I was like, okay, now last year is when I felt, towards the end of last year, I felt, okay, now I think I'm ready. My boy is at a stage where he's in a much better position. He can do well by himself now. He doesn't need me all the time. I'm ready to go back to work.
Okay.
And then the question was, what work am I going to do? And I was like, okay, because we have to slowly, make sure that as a family, we are ready for me to be away.
Yes.
I was like, let me publish the other stories, because I did record my aunts and uncles. I have many, many male stories. Yeah.
Oh.
So I published the next 3, and I've been pursuing that. And I'm so grateful that I have, because the kind of
So you published these 3 at the same time?
Yes.
Okay.
I have so many
So
stories.
it's not one at a time, eh?
No, I have so many stories that will come out that you can't believe how
when did you
wealthy-
start recording that? This is in the last few years you started recording these stories?
Yes. So when I was pregnant, I recorded the first session. And then my sister also helped me to do some more recording. We have so many stories, my goodness.
And most people think these stories are lost.
Yeah, many people think, but they are right. The stories are being lost.
Yeah.
They are in the process. There is a whole generation, if you are really into preserving our culture and our knowledge as Africans and our indigenous knowledge, there is a real fear that we might be facing the last generations that know certain things. It's actually a real fear, and it's happening.
It is a reality, actually.
Yeah, there are people, if you look at it and you're like, if this person is not here today, tomorrow, he is literally going with that entire library of knowledge. This person is taking it. If this old lady in our village is not there, nobody knows how to weave a basket like this lady can. If this person is people like the younger generation, it's a real fear. You're like, there will come a time where we can't actually make certain things because nobody knows how to do it.
But it's also on us, because we read so many other authors all the time, and then when you think about the classic African authors, there's like this huge gap.
It's
where
a huge gap.
They've been celebrated, and I hate to say it, not to say they were not amazing, but maybe we kept hearing the same names. And one of the things I've learned is there's so much out there. There's so many amazing African authors. But if we don't take the time to look for their work, read it, share it,
yes, and insist on our children actually reading it, then nobody will know. I also didn't know how many. So remember, I told you I was looking for books. I didn't know how many. There are many Ugandans who have written children's books. We're not that many. Like we fit on a shelf at Aristoc.
Yes. I was saying
one shelf.
But the point is,
but we are
there.
We are there. And it took me getting into this world to be like, oh my God, I didn't know you were there. And then I've had the pleasure of meeting many of them. We have coffee. If I'm able to, I will ask, do you have a minute? Just to get to know people and then get to know me, because we are sharing this space and we are not many. But we are there. We exist. Yeah.
So I know right now someone would be wondering, like, okay, where would I find your work?
Okay, so right now we're distributing through Aristoc, Book Point, Mahiri. So if you're buying online, you can get through Mahiri. If you're buying physical, but we're also distributing ourselves through Tales by Nyana.
Yes.
And I have had the absolute pleasure of going into schools and sharing with them, and many schools have bought from us directly. So we are in many schools' libraries. And for those there are schools that cannot afford the books, I have made donations because it's important. So we are distributing. So please, I will give you the information you can give to people. People can go Tales by Nyana on our Instagram page. All that information is out. Or
something I saw that was very interesting is the team behind publishing the books. I'm like, wait a minute, these names look quite familiar.
Yes.
Your sisters?
Yes, my sisters.
So you're not working with a publishing house. You're doing
No, this is Boo Boo. This is Boo Boo. Buy Uganda, build Uganda. So my sisters and I, we're 3 sisters, Helen, Sheila and I. We're the ones behind this business. I do a lot of the creative and they do a lot of the business part of it, because that's also their professional training. And then we're also we've worked with Jonathan Kaljimba. He's an amazing Ugandan illustrator. I think that his work has actually been what has taken our books. His
It is
amazing
so
work has taken
beautiful.
our books to a whole other level. And we also worked with Penzi Creations in Ginger. They've printed everything. My beautiful t-shirts, the books, everything that we use. So right now we are buying Uganda and we're building Uganda.
So if
Boo
someone
hoo.
wants to like buy even the t-shirts, the merchandise,
Yes.
we go to
Every,
Instagram
you go to our
page.
Instagram page, Tales by Nyana, and you'll find all the information there.
Okay.
You can buy the books.
Now if someone
You text
is
us.
not on Instagram, where do
We
they
also
go?
have a website, and I'll give you the phone number. I don't have it in my head. Don't kill me,
that's fine.
Sheila. But yes, you can just text and order. We deliver. We are delivering all over Uganda. Yesterday we supplied to a library also in Bara. I was so happy. They texted out. They reached out and they said, "Can we get this for a school?" I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, you can."
Yes,
So,
please.
yes, please. So we also have somebody like people in Mombasa who also reached out to us. So we do supply all across East Africa, and hopefully within the next month, for those in the diaspora, we'll also be on Amazon, and somebody can order directly on Amazon, and we can ship to them.
I hope that we have, I mean, now that you're in this space and you would know better,
Yeah.
I hope we have more and more people, not just in Africa,
Yeah.
but, just building libraries also of these African stories.
Oh yeah, I hope so too.
Because they're so rich.
They are so rich and they're so different. Like the beauty with African stories, like when I've been reading to the children, even to my own children, the children have an attention span that is like, phew. You must make sure that you are with them every step of the way. So the beauty with African stories is we have a lot of singing. We have a lot of expressions. It's not just a direct, you can't tell a traditional African story like this. You
Yes.
can't even read the book like no. I think Africans are so wise because they came up with a style of storytelling that keeps a child's attention all the way to the end. And the point, they're so rich in the messaging that you use them to teach a child anything. But it's the way, like whenever I tell the kids stories and we're talking, I talk to them. I never just read. I stop and we discuss and I get questions. And then when a child naturally would be like, I start singing, and they're like, "Whoa," And then I involve them in the singing. It's such a beautiful way of storytelling. Africans are so wise.
Yeah.
I think
And there's meaning behind
there
the
is
stories.
meaning. I use my books to teach kindness, friendship, courage, loyalty, truth-telling. And the amazing thing is, like in Warkoko and the Magical Singing Sack, I didn't really intend to have this lesson. But in one of the schools recently, after we had read and I asked the children, what did you learn? And this child said, well, I learned about stranger danger. And I was like, wait, what? And this child broke it down, and then the whole class, and then they were like, I never opened the door for somebody that's not my mom or my dad. And I was like, wait, you picked
You taught
stranger danger.
something that you didn't even know.
Yes, that's African storytelling. That's African storytelling. That's why our parents could use the same story for different lessons. Because it just never teaches one principle. It teaches so many other things. This child was telling, and I was like, oh yeah, that's actually true. And then he said, and you know how Warkoko used fruits? It's because when somebody wants to kidnap you, they will use something like sweets, things you like, and then they will take you. I was like, yes, yes, that's true. That's the point I was trying to also make. That's the beauty of African storytelling.
Yeah.
There's so many lessons, and then it's just never linear. That you sing, you're expressive, and it's beautiful. And I try to capture the same with the books. So in the books, I keep the original song, I translate it. So if and I'm going to, for those who are watching, I will sing the songs online so people can learn the songs.
Oh, nice.
Yes. And then you can teach the children. So I do put the songs, I try to make sure that I keep the spirit of the story, how it would have been told. I try to, although I do adapt for a modern day reader, but I think it's important to keep that natural rhythm of African storytelling. It's not No, we are very expressive people. We are very
Yes.
dramatic. We take children there, and we're not. And the good thing with
We have
African
sound
story,
effects everywhere.
yeah, and we're not afraid of darkness in African storytelling. We're not
Thank
afraid
you.
of scary things. I think African storytellers believed that children can
Should
find
know that.
that storytelling is a safe way to explore very difficult topics.
Yes,
So the story, because somebody was like, "Oh, isn't that scary?" I'm like, "Yeah."
But kids should know,
But
because
kids
like
know.
I remember someone saying that they hadn't talked to their child about death,
Yes.
and I'm like, but it's all around us.
It's all
It's
around
in
us.
nature. What
Yes.
happens when they lose a grandparent or
Yeah.
they lose a pet?
Then you start that day explaining
Yes.
to them, and then they have to ask
They
you,
have
so
to know
where
the
have they
concept
gone?
is there.
Yeah.
So when
Yeah.
they find out on their own, it's extremely scary, because
Yeah.
some children are like, "Mommy, are you going to die
you
one
going to
day?
die?
Is
Yeah.
Daddy going to die one day?"
Yeah.
Because they actually have never really had,
Yeah.
even in a light way, they haven't
Yeah.
come across those big concepts.
Yeah.
I have a friend who's going down a road of African spirituality,
Yes.
going full in
Yeah.
back to learning whether it's herbs, whether it's all
Yeah.
these different
Yeah.
rituals.
Yeah.
And I know she is freaking people out.
Yeah.
But I'm like, but
I'm
but
also
this is
having
who we
those
were.
discussions with my books. I have met many parents who are afraid of getting into telling traditional stories because they're not so sure how far they can go with certain things, whether they don't know how to explore certain topics, whether it works well with their spirituality and things like that. And I'm always like, but literature is the safest place for you to deal with very difficult topics.
Exactly.
And there's the beauty about storytelling and literature is that you have your own opinions and you are allowed to express them.
Yeah.
And you're also allowed to disagree with an author. You are allowed to, it's all there, and you're allowed to do that with your child too.
But I'm very curious about why we're so afraid, though, because
Yeah.
we're very open to hearing about, other cultures'
Yes.
histories.
I think
Whether it's Native Americans, I mean, we watch movies,
Yeah.
we've seen rituals, and so many others. We're okay
Yeah.
learning
I think
about those things. Then
colonialism
when it
did
comes
play
to
a
our
number
own,
on
we're
us.
like, no, we can't talk about
Yes.
that. That is dark. That's
Yes.
too.
Yes, I actually dealt with a very interesting situation recently where somebody said they wouldn't buy my books because they are afraid that anything traditional or cultural is evil.
Oh,
And all I said was,
no.
girl, you have to love yourself a little bit more than
Oh
that.
my goodness.
You have to love yourself
That
a
hurts
little.
my soul.
Yes, I told her, you cannot tell me that everything about you is
Where you
evil.
came from.
Who you are is evil. And she said, no, it just doesn't go well with my Christian faith. And I said, but how does it not? How? I needed to understand what about your religious beliefs did not agree with you, who you are as a African, as a Ugandan, as a Mnyankore, let's get down to the tribe. I'm Msiaba, as I'm Msiaba. Like I still don't fully get it because I can understand people are afraid of witchcraft, but I said, what is the best place for you to teach a child good and evil than through something they've read? Like, how can you? The argument I was trying to tell this person is, you cannot cover your child's eyes like this,
Yes,
because one time they're going to
100%.
grow up and they're going to open their eyes and then they're going to realize the whole world does exist.
No,
And now what do I do?
I like what you said about witchcraft, and many people either don't want to hear anything about it or don't believe in it.
Yes.
But you can't have one without the other.
You
You can't
can't
have light without dark. It is
I
the
agree
way
too.
it is.
I agree too. And I think that we all live in a world where all these things exist. They all do, and we make decisions. And you make a decision about what you want to do with your life. And when it comes to, like I told this person, when it comes to my books, you need to allow your child to be equipped to make the decisions.
Yeah.
And in order for that to happen, you need to let them be informed.
Yes.
And be informed in a safe space where you as a parent do it in a nice, fun way during story time. Let your child be informed, because God forbid your child wakes up thinking this is how the world is, and they will realize one day the world is like this, and then they're like,
it is incredibly
so now I'm going to try this, I'm going to try that, I'm going to try that,
Exactly.
I'm going to try that.
They're like,
and now
why did you only tell me about this one thing?
Yes, and then you also have, I was talking to another mom the day before yesterday, and I was like, your child will explore all these themes that you're scared of and not in your presence.
Yes.
Because
Which
you
is
have
the most
showed
terrifying
them, yes,
thing.
you have showed them that you do not tolerate other opinions, you don't tolerate. So they will explore them because it's
Yeah,
human nature.
and they'll hide it from
Yes,
you.
and they will hide it from you. And then now what?
Yeah.
You want, what I hope that we can do as parents is to say there are different themes, there are different topics, there are different worldviews. Let's explore them as much as possible within the safe space of our home, within the safe space of story time, within the safe space of me as your parent, still being in a position to talk with you about it.
Yeah.
But not to say we don't, us we don't, us we don't,
No, what you're
us we
saying
don't.
about the curiosity that
Yes.
is childlike.
Yes.
Every adult should have that,
That
childlike
curiosity.
curiosity in
Yes.
them.
And
But if you are guarding, because information, knowledge
Yeah.
is
it's
everything.
power.
Yes.
Yes, it is power. And people don't, people sometimes think it's a certain type of information that is power, but you don't know what is. You don't know. So that's, I always just allow your child to know as much as their brains will allow them. Let them seek and search for knowledge as much as possible, and start a fun way with the storybooks. And then as they get older, they're now, and then you as a parent, you have an opportunity to say, this is right, this is wrong, and let your child ask you why.
Why?
And then like if you
And
don't,
that's the thing
yeah,
about culture and
yeah.
traditions.
If you don't allow your
You
child,
don't
yeah,
have to do everything that was
everything,
done
yes,
before.
yeah.
But there is so much good
There's
that
so
we
much
can
good,
still.
and we should embrace all the good. We should embrace it all. The same way, even within religion, we do embrace the good, and then we stay away from the bad.
Yeah.
But
I mean, if we were doing what
yeah,
the Old Testament.
honey, none of us would have made it. None of us would be here because we wouldn't even qualify. No, exactly. So I always tell people, celebrate. You need to love yourself a little bit more. And you also need to equip your child to love themselves. Because as a person who is raising children in outside Uganda,
Yeah.
and these are African children, yes, they are German, but they're also equally Ugandan, and they're equally Wanyankole children. I feel that it's my role to equip them with everything to make them love who they are, because they will need to love themselves so much in order to flourish in this world. They will need to believe in themselves. They will need to be grounded, to know they have a belonging, to know that they come from
Because
a
you find
people
50-year-olds who are having
who are lost.
like breakdowns
Yes.
because they do not have that
Yeah.
sense. Every human being is going to search for
Yeah.
that foundation, that sense
Yeah.
of belonging.
Yeah.
So
And I
we
think
have to
as
do it
parents,
in
yeah,
our power.
Yeah, as parents, we have to really make sure that our children love themselves.
Yeah.
And the only way they love themselves is
And all sides of themselves.
and all sides of themselves. They need to know who they are, and they need to know that who they are is beautiful. They need to know that as African children, they are enough, because this whole world is telling Africans we're not. We don't qualify. We're not equal, but we are. We come from we come from a people that, my goodness, when I think about our ancestors, I think about people who have survived, people who have thrived. That is the energy we bring. If you tell your child, no, that's not right, that's not good, that's not beautiful, what are you teaching your child? Because who are they going to be? And then after, people say, oh my God, we have forgotten these things. Yeah, but we're forgetting them because we are intentionally making sure that we don't teach them.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that I can share with parents and say, please, these stories were used to teach our parents, our grandparents, and they taught most of us of a particular age. They taught us.
We are who we are because of them.
Who we are. And now we have an opportunity to teach the next generation, and to make sure that the next generation can teach another generation. And when they're in books, what's better? We're reading stories of I don't know how many generations back from different countries, because somebody wrote it down. And I'm hoping that maybe from the work we're doing at Tales by Nyana, maybe my grandchildren will say, there was Nzima and Nzizi. Do you know the story of, so there was once a girl, because they have the book.
Yeah.
And because we didn't forget. Because that story was written, nobody forgot it. And I'm hoping that it will be another tribe, somebody from another tribe, who will stand up and say, do you know that Banyankore have this? Or if once, because I'm hoping now the next books we'll publish will not be from the Southwestern. I'm hoping to get more into Central and Eastern, and know that everywhere. By the time we're done, Tales by Nyana will have the biggest library of children's stories that are based on traditional. I tell you. So my hope is that one time, Nyankore will be able to say, you know that Chole have this story, and they'll tell the whole story and teach their child a lesson that is rich, a lesson from a story that has survived generations and changed how people thought and created survivors, created people who are really strong and ambitious, you know. I'm hoping if we're lucky, if we're successful in this venture, that's going to be what people will be like, you know, the Bagisu, they have this saying, and you're quoting, and because you read it somewhere, we've not forgotten it. I hope we can achieve that.
Oh
Crystal.
man, that's so beautiful.
Thank you.
Getting emotional now.
Yeah, these things we are passionate.
Yes, we are.
We are passionate. Yeah, and we're moms, so we understand
Yes,
why
we
there
know
is.
how
Yeah.
important it is.
Yeah.
A friend's child said to me recently, and my heart broke, that there wasn't a single good Ugandan song that they had ever heard. I was like, what's
Ane.
going on?
That friend, that child needs to come.
I was actually really, really like, oh no,
Yeah.
there's a lot of work to be done.
There's a lot of work to be done. But you know, you also do understand that child as well, because a lot of what our children see is not of us.
Yeah.
A lot of what they experience is not of us.
But you see,
It's
that's
also
why you have to start early.
Yeah, yeah.
You have to start early. And
Yeah.
like you said, you have to be proud. Whether it's Africa band, yes.
Yes.
Teach your kids.
Oli Muja Wom. They played that song at my wedding, and people said, "What has happened to the bride?" The bride has lost control. Shout out to Africa band. They said, "One night I'm going to
So there you have it. Well, Rhona, thank you so much
Thank you, Chris. So thanks for having
for
me.
joining me on the show and sharing
you.
your passion
Yes.
and the amazing work you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
This is game changer, life changing, should I
Yes,
say?
yes.
And yeah, we're proud of you.
Thank
We're
you.
proud of you. Keep
Thank
at
you.
it.
Thank you, Crystal.
All right.